Welcome to another edition of Coinomi Connect AMA. In this session, our CEO Koby Lazar joins host Dwayne for a deep dive into all things crypto. This conversation was recorded live on X Spaces on July 23, 2025. Please note, the views and opinions expressed in this AMA do not necessarily represent those of Coinomi Wallet and should not be considered financial advice. Always do your own research on the projects discussed. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. Now let's get started. Enjoy.
Okay, it started a bit like a minute earlier, but it doesn't make much of a difference. But let's wait for more people to join in, especially Koby. So let's just wait for now. Okay, everyone, let's do a quick sound check. If you guys can hear me loud and clear and my connection is good, please just do an emote. I guess that would work. Got one. And Koby, welcome. Nice to meet you again. Oh, okay. Now I can speak, Koby. Still muted. Okay.
Hey, Dwayne, can you hear me all right?
Oh, Koby, welcome. Welcome to Coinomi Connect, even though it's kind of your show. It's kind of mine too, but yeah, it's nice to finally have you here.
I have to have the mindset that any show I join is my show, so I'll take it. But happy to be with you, Dwayne.
Of course. Anyway, wait a minute, Koby. Let's wait. Should we wait for sufficient amount of people before we
Yeah,
get started?
usually we wait a few more
Mhm.
minutes, just maybe a minute or two to get some more people in here. But I know that a lot of our listenership comes from people tuning in the next day or the day after, recommended the space by a friend because it made them laugh so hard that they hit the key and bought a meme coin. Now they're rich. So we'll wait another few minutes or a minute or two, and then we'll get going.
Okay, I guess let's start officially at 05 to keep it even, I guess, and then we can
Let's
officially
make it
start.
even.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, I guess that's sufficient time. And I made a mistake. I didn't meant to say even, but it's supposed to be odd at 5. Gosh, I'm so bad at mathematics. But anyways, it's 05. So, Koby, you think we're ready? Or
I
the.
think we're ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so hello and good day to everyone who are tuning in here at the very first, which is I'm the host in terms of being here at Koinomi Connect, but this time I'm gonna be with CEO Koby Lazar. So Koby, how are you doing today? And can you tell us what was the last meal that you ate before you got into this spaces?
I'm doing good, and I had a bit of a pizza and a Caesar salad. The pizza was like kind of huge, so I mostly ate the ham off the top and some olives and cheese. So, I mean, so far the stomach is like letting me do a space, so I appreciate that. But we'll see where it goes since I had a glass of red wine. I'm here in Copenhagen, enjoying Europe a little bit for the summer and getting some work done on a synchronous time zone with the team.
I see. Copenhagen. I'm not sure how big their servings are right there, but I remember in Italy, I ordered a pizza and I was surprised they gave me an entire whole piece of pizza. I was expecting a slice. So I don't know what it works in Copenhagen, but if it's a huge slice of pizza, I was thinking like American ish slices. But I think if you're able to eat it with a side of salad, and that means that you have quite the space for eating a lot of things, Kobe, or it's just so small of a serving.
Well, I mean, Bitcoin is so multinational, multicultural, but I think that pizza and Bitcoin have a long history together. So it always makes a little bit of sense to enjoy one with the other.
Absolutely. Bitcoin and pizza has a bit unfortunate and funny kind of connection, especially in the past. But here we are, right here, talking about pizza and Bitcoin. But right now, we specifically wanted to know more about not just Koinomi, but even you, Koby, especially since it's literally said in the title, CEO Koby Lazar, Koinomi Connect. So I guess we can get started. Koby, can you tell a little bit about yourself, maybe your background and history before you got even involved with Koinomi? Maybe take it back to right before you got into crypto.
Right before I got into crypto, I was actually just about to go into high school. I was pretty young then. I'm not too far older now since that was just around 2013, 2014. There were really no ways that I, as someone interested in financial markets, could get back then, a Robinhood account, or even now, I mean, a 13, 14-year-old has basically no way to enter and buy a little bit of Apple stock or start learning about what kind of things you can do in a brokerage account. So I felt kind of locked out of the, world of finance. And crypto looked like the only way to buy something that might appreciate in value, to trade it a little bit, open tools that really back then didn't have any kind of KYC or boundaries. So it was really kind of a burgeoning place for anyone to get involved with finance in a very fun way, because I didn't buy Bitcoin when I started off, but I bought just a bit of Dogecoin. So that's how I got started with some dog money tokens.
Okay, but that's quite a leap of faith, I would say, because stocks are a lot more stable for sure. And Bitcoin at that time, if you're getting started like way, way years back, there's a lot of, you know, people thinking, oh, Bitcoin is a scam at that time. There's barely any wallets, anything at all to, what do you call this, to make it more trustworthy for a lot of people, especially for investors. So I know the appeal of having more gains compare over a shorter period of time. But what appealed to you in terms of trust? Like, why would you invest something in this wherein it's basically all digital?
Well, sadly, I definitely have a few stories of being offered in some other ventures a bit of money in Bitcoin that I was like, why would I take a bit of money in Bitcoin now when I could have some cash on hand, which of course just sat in a PayPal account for years anyways. Um, but I really had to take that leap because again, there was no way for someone 13, 14 to put their social security code in and get an account in the US with any kind of place to trade, whether Fidelity or Schwab or that was kind of the only way that I could try and feel like I was involved with financial things online. It also, I didn't tell my folks or my friends really that I was purchasing those things with PayPal and making those financial maneuvers. So it was kind of like a private thing that still felt really cool and a bit fringe. And you're definitely right. There weren't many places to store your coins or buy coins. And that's actually exactly what led me to Coinomi first as a user in 2014. I was really interested in Dogecoin and Redcoin, and I wanted to put them together in one wallet. Coinomi was the only wallet out there that had that as a solution back then, supporting maybe 15 coins, maybe even less. But that's how I got started. I simply found Koinomi. I remember exactly the day that I downloaded it because I very silly minded sent myself the recovery key as an email. If anyone wants to hack me, don't worry, that account's been drained a long time ago. But I still do have some of the original Dogecoin that I bought and put in that Koinomi wallet, and it reminds me a lot about who I was back then and how I try to, bring a lot of the same values that made me get involved in crypto to keep building for those values and not just for money, not just for, um, you know, the new wave of crypto bros, but really keep it about accessible finance for everyone. Whether you're young, whether you're in a different country that doesn't have a stable currency or have access to banking, that kind of is what the ethos is amongst many of our team members who are still with us from 2014 who believe in that mission. I was just lucky enough that when I found those Dogecoin in 2016, they were still in Coinomi, and I had a few ideas to get involved with the team, and they welcomed me back then.
That's really impressive. I mean, going back to what you said earlier, for as young as like 13, 14 years old, back then I could compare when I have like $20, I feel like I can buy anything. Any games that I want. Oh wow, but you're
Totally,
thinking way ahead.
totally.
Yeah. You're already thinking
And that
about.
was the amount I
Mhm.
spent. I think I spent about $40 in total on Doge. I used $20 of that like in the next month immediately to donate to like some Twitch streamer that I was in love with, of course. And I think that's the only time I ever bought something from like a streamer or like sent money or something from Minecraft. But yeah, it was Wild West back then. It kind of still is now, but it's getting a bit less gunfights in the street and a bit more banks and shops popping up with tumbleweeds kind of getting cleaned up.
Back then, I'm not sure about how Twitch does their tips and things like that. Are they accepting cryptocurrency at that time? I'm just quite
They're
curious about
definitely
that.
not, but I have a
Oh,
few
okay.
emails that I sent to Twitch and I sent to Fiverr and I sent to like a bunch of companies of asking them to support Dogecoin. If only they had the foresight. But I do have those poorly formatted emails from 2014 of like, hey, I think you should support. Anyway, so that's just another thing I brought in.
Imagine if if they do accepted tips in form of cryptocurrency, you tip Bitcoin at a really low price point, and looking right now, you actually tip a lot of money if they actually held on to that. It's going to be a crazy story that they just let it in a wallet, that Twitch trimmer or anywhere. Yeah, it's quite crazy, but right now
And
it's.
and
Mhm.
I was just getting involved with Dogecoin. Where were you in 2014? Were you chronically online like me, or were you kind of touching grass and still being young and cool? And I don't know how much you want to get into your stuff, but were you playing any video games back then? Because for me, it was
Video games,
wake up,
man.
Minecraft, go to school, come back from school, play Minecraft, procrastinate my work until I fall asleep playing Minecraft. Very rigorous schedule for a 14-year-old.
Exactly. And yet here you are right now, not just an investor, but actually part of a bigger thing in cryptocurrency or just in crypto in general. So in Coinomi, that time, 2016 is when you get involved. But when you first discovered Coinomi, I'm quite curious because I'm sure there's not a lot of options back then to store crypto, but why Coinomi? Why is it the first thing? I'm sure maybe it's not even the first thing that you saw that you wanted to keep your investments or your assets in, but what did you saw in Coinomi that made you stick with it and be where you are right now?
Well, I was using my wallet like everyone else did then and mostly does now just to send and receive and store my coins. And I saw a few apps that were popping up back then, like Lawnmower and Acorn, and a few that would round up every purchase you made just a couple of cents and invest it on your behalf into some stocks. And I said, why are people getting an app that does this with your credit card that then buys it through a brokerage? I mean, it's kind of like middleman versus middleman versus middleman. If I could just do everything from my wallet and send money to an investment like ICOs back then, or send money to trade directly from my wallet. That would make everything so much easier. And maybe there's still a middleman of the wallet or of one more person between, but that would evaporate a ton of friction and people taking percentages between me and getting to where I want to be with my finances. So that's kind of what fueled my idea in 2016 that I put in a Google document and sent to the Coinomi team back then, which they said was really aligned with their vision and how they saw wallets growing. And while we've had some bumps in the road and we're really getting back to what we started out to create, that's where a lot of other wallets have, focused their efforts of making the wallet that you use to store your coins, also the gateway you make it your investments through. Maybe you store your digital identity, a safe haven where you're not transferring, but you're just pixels away from your own funds and pixels away from another opportunity that should better your life. That's what I believe, and I think my team believes crypto is about. It's about proving solutions that reduce either middlemen or security risks that make people's lives better. Because if we don't make people's lives better and show that value beyond just a number in an account going up, then I don't think crypto has a long-term viable future.
Exactly. That's why a lot of people chose crypto. We wanted to be decentralized. We wanted everything to be simple. We don't want to go through a lot of other things before you can actually receive and transfer money. We just want it as fast as, a snap of a finger. But, back then there's a lot of rules, regulations that you need to go through. But, as you mentioned, you're able to find out, your vision to make things a lot simpler, a lot more simple. And with Coinomi that you joined in 2016, I'm guessing that was your initial vision, but over time, crypto evolves a lot faster than, any other industries. And how did this vision evolve, from making everything simple? Did it change at all? Or did you just get more advanced in terms of how you wanted to grow?
I think everyone had to really evolve with crypto as it went through these big cycles and might still be on one right now as we hit price points like 118, 119, 125 soon dollars. 125,000, that is. I hope not to see a few three digits again. But we all kind of had to adjust the goals of our companies and the goals of our projects to make sure we were serving what that buzzword was, if it were investments or lending or ICOs or NFTs, but also infusing enough value that we have legs to stand the next 3, 4 years, making sure we're serving customers beyond just the latest trend of the buzzword. So we've always had to readjust our vision, or at least we've always had to adjust the milestones to reaching the big ones. Based off the market, based off of hard times in hacks and FTX and all things like that, we go through crises. But I think the vision has always stayed the same of unfettered access to your digital assets anywhere, anytime, with no restriction, no fee, no nothing. And that's still what we provide and serve users with today. That's what we provided and served them with in 2014. And now we kind of get to accelerate in this next phase, given Bitcoin's growth and our team reunification. We get to accelerate actually achieving that mission because, again, on the team, we think that wallets are a great place to store your funds. But we think that they should be the best place to make the most out of them. We should be helping people no matter where they are in the world or whichever country or language they speak. We should be able to help them individually and say, hey, there's an opportunity for you to use one of your digital assets in a way that's beneficial to you. And we're going to make it super easy and super cheap to do exactly that.
And I think that's one of the biggest advantages of having someone that used to be a loyal user of the product to be, one of the users, because you see through all of those cracks and those cons, and you know what to improve, you know what they need, and to get in touch with the community as well definitely helps to know what kind of developments your product needs.
Oh, I
And
just cut off for a minute. Can you say that again?
yeah, I was saying that that's the advantage of you or having someone that used to be a loyal user of your product and then elevated to have a more to be part of the team, because you saw all through those weaknesses and strengths back then when you're using it, and you have a say now on how the development goes based on your experiences yourself. So I
Yeah,
think that
a lot
really
of our
helps.
developers and team members follow the same story. Our product manager has been with us since around 2018, 20, yeah, I think of 2018, and he was a member of the community and a user of the product for many years. We just onboarded the developer actually, who's looking for a strong mission and a great place to work. And one of the main reasons that we were able to bring him onto the team is that we went through the interview process with him in 2017. And while we didn't have the resources to bring him on properly back then, he's been a user ever since, and he's going to be coming into the team soon to really work on again the mission he believed in then as a user, and will be able to lead as one of the key developers in the role that he'll be filling. So we always would rather hire someone who's had the product in their pocket for years and years. I meet a lot of them when I'm on the road at conferences or at pitch days of people who say, "Wait, I know Coinomi. You were my first wallet in 2015, 2018, 2013, or maybe not that one." But it's really exciting to meet those people. A lot of them usually can't offer a job because they stored a bunch of Bitcoin then in their wallet and they sold a bunch of it just now. So, I mean, they're not looking for work. But we're always on the hunt for people who maybe have had the wallet for a long time or maybe a short time, but just understand that it's more than just an app that you store your coins. It's really trying to fulfill a vision that we think people around the world deserve and have the right to, given how widespread the internet is. We think that there's just rights that you should have in terms of accessing your own funds, your own freedom, and a wallet that no one can ever take from you.
Especially from people coming from the position of not just having a job and getting profit from the job. I mean, of course, that's a plus, but as sharing the same vision that you have, Kobe, helping the space be more connected, be a lot more simpler and easier. Knowing now that a lot of the technical people here in Koinomi as well also has that kind of mindset to help people. It definitely helps a lot coming in that position of helping instead of like profiting. Although, yeah, again, it's a plus, but it definitely helps a lot to be more like that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's still a business. And I just always try to get myself involved in a project or a business, or I mean, I need to have a relationship too of where your incentives are naturally aligned. We want people to be opening Coinomi multiple times a day. We want them to be able to store all of the types of coins that they're getting involved with and using. And it just so happens that all of that really aligns with making the best user experience, making the cheapest place to store, or rather, the cheapest place to swap and to buy more Bitcoin, buy more Ethereum over 100 countries we support where you can use a bunch of payment methods to get a hold of crypto or to sell it when the times are good or maybe a little bit rough. So look for that goal alignment because that's how we've been able to reassemble a team in the past year who are just now getting able to really pump out some releases that are going to make our users excited. They're going to bring a lot of our review scores up, which helps us work as a team to communicate to people we're back and we're getting back on the mission that Konami had in the first
Yes,
place.
definitely. And as Kobe mentioned, if you are a user of Koinomi or about to use Koinomi, please feel free to do us a review or maybe read the reviews as well for any of your to share your experiences or to read each other's experience. It definitely helps. And if you have a negative experience, feel free to voice out as well because we're more than happy to provide solutions for your problems or your troubles. Yeah, we're quite open here at Koinomi to make sure that everyone's voices are heard, especially the ones that are using our Koinomi. And Kobe, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry if I cut you off. I'm about to say anything else.
I was just gonna say that, it's definitely tweet us the problems you have so we can answer in public and show everyone the great job we're doing in fixing those issues quick, like how we're bringing back Monero, hopefully even by the end of this month into the wallet. And yeah, leave those 5-star reviews once we fix that bug and squash that feature you needed implemented so that we can communicate to people the good job we're doing. So hit us in the DMs with your complaints and always lavish us with 5-star reviews in the market because we thank you so much for being a part of the family.
And that's also what I saw that's really impressive with Coinomi because when I use Coinomi, the customer support is a lot faster than most wallets that I've tried. Whenever I send out before on the other wallets that I've used, I needed to wait at least 3 to 5 business days or maybe more before I get even a response from the customer support. And then if I do get a response, I need to wait a few more days to get the next one. Wherein in Coinomi, you get it within the day, within a few hours, actually, which is quite impressive. Knowing your user base and the amount of people from all over the world that's using your wallet, which is one of the impressive feats of Koinomi, I would say.
Thank you. You know, I'm excited that you're joining the team now because you're going to see how diligently our support team works to perform at least three functions. The first, to get back to users on time with an answer that's clear and concise and helps them immediately. The second is to communicate issues that we're having, like bugs or problems, right to our developer team so that they can get on it and fix things for our users. And the third is really being a guiding hand for our development process of what are users looking for, where are the pain points, what can we make better, what's next on our roadmap. As much as we would rather have you send in a 5-star review and DM us your 1-star review so we can fix things in Twitter, we do appreciate those 3, 4 reviews in stars because we're able to fix those problems quickly, communicate them, set development goals, and then hopefully see an update of a 5-star when in just a few days we tell people how we're going to fix their problem or get that feature coin back in the app.
And that's the best feeling ever, when you're able to answer the negative review and that person changing it from 3 to 5, that means that that you did a great job in terms of doing
Yeah, we're on an uphill battle, I'll admit, to our community and with everyone that we know that we're already shipping some amazing technology. But for the past year or two, or the year before that, we really weren't able to serve our community. Most of the development team was spread around the world for a few years. I surely wasn't there, and a bunch of people weren't. So we're kind of climbing back up to say, hey, we're back, and we're punching above our belt because we consider community support and treating our people right the number one first step to rebuilding trust with the crypto community and to achieving our own goals, which is to get more people using Coinomi and to build more ways into the app they can get the most out of the service we provide. So again, goals have to be aligned. A lot of wallets that have a few million users right now, or I mean a few dozen millions of users, they just don't mind letting you wait 2 or 3 days. For us, if a user's waiting 2 or 3 days, that means we failed. That means that we've denigrated a huge amount of trust with someone who maybe has had Koinami for years and has been waiting for us to ship a new release or feature. So you just know that you're going to get the best customer support at Koinami because it is our number one priority. So I hope that's the testament to our amazing support team that works around the clock, some of the members of which have been with us since 2017, 2018. And I think that's also why they're so willing to always go to bat and turn on the keyboard a little bit later than they even might have signed up for, just to get the job done, just to get those users helped.
Absolutely. And having a bad internet service, customer service is one thing, but having your investments in a wallet and contacting customer support is a lot more stressful, especially for that user. So it definitely is crucial to make sure that you have someone to talk to over, the financial institution or wallet that you're using to be, to be as what's the word, I guess, to be prompt in terms of answering your questions whenever you have problems. And Kobe,
Absolutely.
and going back to what you were saying earlier, you've been here for Koinomi since 2016 as part of the team, and I would like to know how how hands-on are you in terms of the team and the technical developments? You've been close with a lot of team members, but how exactly specific in terms of technical developments are you involved whenever Koinomi, let's say, have some new things that they wanted to show or they wanted to develop? How far is your role in that?
Mondays usually start with a discussion with our product development team or product management team, rather, of looking at what we're shipping next, what we're working on in the design shop, and what we're going to put in users' hands. That's because I do take a little bit of a micromanagement procedure towards what people are going to interact with most in the wallet. I want to obsess over that. I want to think about it a lot and put deep, considerate thought into where that, like where a button goes and how that user might enact the icon. We've seen some wallets out there that really, really prioritize design over everything. And while we certainly haven't for the past decade, and probably have been able to ship some more useful features out there than just design, we have a really dedicated group of people, including myself, into making a lot of considerable efforts to make sure that everything makes sense in the world. So getting back to the question though, besides bragging about how much I would like to spend time on buttons, a lot of my work is on the back end of legal and finance and operation kind of things of business development. But I think my most hands-on work is with our team, like Brendan and our amazing designer and our amazing chief of marketing and marketing um, associate, of making sure that the things we're doing that users see every day are really what we want to be demonstrating from our side and putting our best foot forward when a user starts to use Koinomi again or gets introduced for the first time.
And now that you mentioned that, I'm also quite curious because compared to then, you now hold a lot more in the decision making of Koinomi as the CEO. And now that you're here, I'm quite curious on what's your decision making process, especially let's say in prioritizing which features to integrate on Koinomi, because there's hundreds, maybe thousands of things that you can add in Koinomi or just in a wallet in general, especially with a lot of competitors, similar products. So, how do you think about what to prioritize, which to prioritize in the development of Koinomi?
That's a great question, and it's something that I've had to think about a lot as I re-enter into this role of helping shape the future of Koinami, because it's always felt very intuitive to me. And if it's just intuition that leads you and you can't really extrapolate and put it into thoughts or guidelines or rules, then you end up kind of always trying to trust your gut, which is useful, but not always the best approach to development. So it's a delicate consideration between user experience and I mean, the first thing, the buck stops at security and privacy. That's something that is just paramount for us. We'd rather have you fully secure and fully private from prying eyes than the most gorgeous wallet you could ever use. I mean, I think we strike a balance between both, but we will never jeopardize user security and user anonymity for business goals or for something that makes us a bit more flashy. So in after that main first consideration, it's a careful decision between some of our business priorities, but always putting the user forward. I don't have to tell you how much of an innovator someone like Jeff Bezos is, but the thing that he always prioritizes is user experience and how is that customer feeling when they're using the product or making their transaction? What's their ease of use? If it might take you another 100 hours to make them save another few minutes, it's probably worth it because not only are your competitors thinking the same way if they're smart, but you want to get ahead of that and provide the best service you always can provide your users. So we have a lot that we're doing right now just to fix up the leaks in the boat before we can really get sailing and ship things that we feel push the envelope and change what a wallet is and represents for people today. Uh, so we'll have to see how that balance goes once we start developing those tools out. But right now, we know that getting Koinami up to the full standard that it was at in 2018, 19, 21 is the full goal. And it makes priorities a bit easier when you know exactly what needs to be fixed, like Monero, like account synchronization, things like that that we're attacking directly at the moment.
You got a lot of things planned, and I'm sure you're excited about a lot of them. But right now, what are you the most excited about in terms of seeing Koinomi maybe in the next 1 to 2 years of development? What do you see Koinomi doing, and what are you excited about mostly?
I think for the past few weeks and months, we've been welcoming a lot of top cap coins like Solana and a bunch of EVMs and soon Cosmos into our app again for users to be able to take their funds off of risky exchanges and fund their main accounts. So that's really exciting. We'll be shipping, I think, Sui next and getting Monero back into the wallet. So seeing our asset class family expand and do so in a really scalable version 3 type of way that we've developed this past few months and years in waiting, that's what's exciting is to see all this technology shipped to hundreds of thousands of people around the world.
That is going to be huge, and considering, all in all the considerations, you in the past there, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of challenges that you've had in terms of development with Koinomi, and right now you're pushing it to be something new, like kind of like a rebirth or a reborn of the product, in which you're doing fantastically. Having this kind of Twitter Spaces or X Spaces, as you would a lot of newer people would say, definitely helps out to make sure that Koinomi is alive. It's still developing things, and there's a lot of other things that you should look forward. And Koinomi definitely helps you to be more connected with the community. And I'm sure a lot of the users of Koinomi now are also users of Koinomi maybe 10 years ago, like you are, Koby, and maybe a lot of the team members and listeners right here. So I guess that proves Koinomi's promise of being ahead in the future, I would say. So it's continuously growing. And again, I keep saying it all and over again, but there's a lot of things to be excited about Koinomi. And going back to you, Koby, for you, I guess, in the leader's perspective, what would be your advice for anyone who's, I guess, in the same position as you in a leadership role in a crypto or Web3 based company? Doesn't need to be specifically on a crypto wallet, to make sure that, we all just wanted to be, we all have the same vision in the Web3 space, that is to make finance and, a lot easier in terms of using crypto. What would be your advice to all those leaders to make sure that everyone's growing and everyone will benefit in the end, just to be a better leader in general in developing their product?
I'd say focusing on longevity and risk mitigation. We're really concerned not with the next quarter or 3 quarters, but for the next 10 years, the next 2 decades, actually, of making sure that we're still around. That might sound crazy to some people, but being around for a decade already, which has consumed a large portion of my life, we're always thinking about how do we make sure this product lives, this community lives, and we're always able to serve this great product to anyone in the world. So thinking very forward and not just for the next quarter is really useful and necessary.
Exactly. Thinking ahead of the future. I mean, looking in the present situation, and helping people that you're using your products now is helpful, but you need to be always 3 steps ahead of everyone, competitors or people that work with you, especially you as a CEO. You need to be always be ahead of everyone to make sure that your product and your company and your business in general will be up to date with the industry. So, Koby, before we go to the last part of the Coinomi Connect, is there any other latest news or updates that you would like to announce and from Coinomi? I know you've mentioned a bit more during the entirety of this spaces, but if there's anything that we missed out, feel free to do so now.
I might have to check if I forgot anything already in my notes. But I do want to encourage everyone again to leave a 5-star review. There's nothing you could do besides trading a bunch more in your wallet that would help us out right now. And tell a friend that we're back and that we're really on a mission and kind of like I said, an uphill battle fighting some titans who, there's some big wallets around, and as many have popped up in the past year or two, about 3 or 4 times of those have failed or not failed, but just went down or offline because they focused on things like let's get rich quick as a wallet team, or let's try to build something that gives a 300-time return, and they just take your money. So I think that what we're doing is not only making sure we are the antithetical case to those wallets, but there's a lot of wallets that uh, kind of aren't aligned with users that want them to move their money more, move their money less. Uh, yeah, but just stay tuned. We have some amazing updates that are coming out, and our team is doing an amazing job of communicating exactly what's going to be coming. If you get in touch with us, we're always excited to share what's coming next and the developments we're going to ship.
Exactly. And if you guys have any trust issues, any doubts, look at Koinomi's history. We've been here for more than a decade, I would say, and we're still here. We're still doing developments, as I mentioned earlier. So, how many
If
wallets?
you have any trust issues, if you
Yeah,
have any Exodus issues, mycelium issues, all right, that's a bad joke, but I had to slip one in
it
there.
all works. Yeah. But I guess that would be the end of the Koinomi Connect. But Koby, I think that pizza and that Caesar salad definitely gave you enough energy to speak out. It was definitely an insightful spaces or and Koinomi Connect here. So it's an amazing thing, and I'm looking forward for the next one, Koby.
I am too, Dwayne. I know this is your first space hosting with Koinami so far, and I think we look forward to many more that we're bringing some energy to, a bunch of other interesting names and voices and perspectives who I can definitely fight with and get into a few pun battles. You've been great. I'm really excited that after this whole 30 minutes, it feels more like I've been in a fun conversation than having to having to pull teeth. So I just look forward to talking more with you and our community and being really open and transparent. So if anyone DMs us any questions about our development, about our standards, about our security, or what's coming next, we'll do our best to get back to them. And you can always send another ping if we haven't got back to you yet. So Dwayne, thank you so much. Community, thank you so much. And stay tuned. Keep checking your app for updates.
Absolutely. So I need to up my dad jokes and puns to make sure that I can reach Kobe's level of guess humor, because that's quite a tough mountain to climb. I had with my hosting skills with Koinomi, but that being said, that's a lot. There's a lot more to talk about in the next few episodes. So we'll hopefully see you again on the next Twitter Spaces or Koinomi Connect here at Koinomi. So see you again, guys, and bye.